Why? Why do we have to deal with these things? I mean, isn't there enough knowledge in our heads? Why should we remember passwords? There's a button for it, click it. But then IT comes and says, guys, you can't do that. It's against policy. So that makes me wonder, why is the option there to save password? What is the point? So I guess this is applicable to most of you in the room. When you need to enter your date of birth, you have to spin the wheel, and maybe twice, some of you. I just have to scroll back a little bit. But you know what my question is? Have you ever noticed when you click on the year, right? Why do they have the current year? Why would a baby be on a site putting in their birth date? I don't understand that. This is, again, another challenge. I'm sure most of you had started at the bottom where you were working with cables and it was fantastic. Like, look at this technology. And today you are like, what am I looking at here? We're getting to an age where it's difficult and they're making everything smaller. Why is that? We're getting older people. I mean, should we really be struggling with this in this day and age? Oh my gosh, so this hits hard, guys. This really hits hard. When I got back to the office and the people like, who's this lady? Do we know her? Like, I've been here longer than you have, so yes. I'm sure most of you have experienced this as well in the conference, where you look at someone and you're like, damn, that's bad. This happened this morning. I'm sure this has happened to all of you this morning. We just lie in bed and you're like, is it even worth it? Like, I don't even know. Do I really need this job? Like, I can't do this anymore. It's just not worth it. How many of you set more than one alarm in the morning? How many times do you snooze it? 5 times? So why do we have them? Why do we have that option to have multiple alarms and then snooze them? Just set more alarms. Makes more sense. So I'm pretty sure all of you know this. So when you're watching that cool movie from the 80s or 90s, you see this awesome screen and this guy is like hacking and it looks intense. And then you get to your job. We now decided I want to be a coder, but you work on Excel 98. And that's where it stays. And still it feels amazing, right? So you tell people I'm a coder, but you don't show them what you code because you're on Excel. Everything is saved there. Oh, I love this. Software updates. How do you feel about them? We should start a support group on this, because I only update because I have to, because I want the notification gone. Not really that I need the update, not that I think it's applicable, but because that notification pops up and it's quite annoying because you accidentally click on it all the time. And then it threatens you. It's like your computer will restart at 4 today. You have no choice. And I don't know how I feel about threats. So then I just close it. I'm in charge. And this is what happens then. It restarts at 4. When I have a meeting with a client, it restarts. And then my boss is like, oh, you missed a meeting. Must be nice working from home, eh? And this, guys, this is just AfPIF right there. We all know this feeling. I don't know, have you, okay, you guys are a bit older today. Have you watched the actual video? Has anyone seen the actual video and what it sounds like? Oh my God, you guys are so old. So basically, this guy is going up to, so he's doing an interview and he goes up to the fence and he's like, let me in. This is basically us with the Wi-Fi today and yesterday and Tuesday and possibly Monday. Do we have Wi-Fi, guys? I'm just asking for a friend. Should I say more? We have lots of parents here in the room. I'm sure you, you speak to your children like this. Most apps are just database front ends. Change my mind. Do you guys agree? I like my dad jokes. You want to know where I store all my dad jokes? In a database. You can use this after the coffee break. And this is applicable to the network engineers. Don't you feel powerful after proving someone wrong? Like that power. Like I told you it's not the network. So when a program starts responding after you open Task Manager, keep that control. I told you guys, don't threaten me. I'll threaten you back. So again, coming back to the changing technologies, I'm sure a lot of you know the struggle of having your apps, your websites, work with all the different kinds of screens as well as devices. Can we just stop? Can we just stick to one thing? I mean, we're folding, we're flipping, we are expanding. What more? What more can you guys think about? Are we going to go circular? Are we going to go, I don't know, what's next? Heart? An actual apple? What do you guys want? This has happened a few times, not only on an SFG file, but I'm sure you guys have seen this happen quite a lot, where you open a file and this happens and you're like, what? Am I a joke to you? Like, do I need this in my life right now? This is me. This is an actual picture of me opening an email. And this is how it will find me. And then I don't know how to respond to the person because I'm traumatized. Like, why? Why should this happen to me? I don't understand. This year has happened so much, where someone is on a different VLAN and I don't understand what they're saying to me. What are you sending? Where are you going? It's just not making sense. And this happened yesterday, guys. This is why I wasn't presenting. I left the attached file behind. This often happens to everyone, I'm sure. Now, serverless computing, cloud computing. Strange that it's on servers still. Weird, because it says serverless. Doesn't make sense. It's a lie. This industry is just a lie. I'm telling you. How many of you has completed a project and you ask your colleague just to test and you stand around like, anytime, please just check, and you start reflecting on the project. Was this the right decision? Should I have done this? It's not good. That's why they're not checking, because they know it's a fail. Am I right? Now, this is me at this point in my career. We have 2 senior engineers, and then you have me. I'm just there. I just have read-only access. So again, the engineers, you guys would know, I still type out the commands, okay? Interface, Ethernet. My engineers go tab, there we go. And I'm like, how did you do that? It's magic. Does your keyboard know what you're thinking? Futuristic. I still type it out, but like with 2 hands. Now, getting to some of the things that has happened in the industry, stuff that I have seen, stuff that people have said. So before I get to what people have done, let me tell you what I've done. Back when I just started at NAP Africa, we were planning to go to an event, and I had to arrange the bookings for a hotel for a colleague, for me and my colleague, right? So I typed the email. I'm very proud of my email, telling the travel department where we're staying, how many nights, who it is, all of that. And I put my team email in CC so that they can see what I'm sending. And now I pressed send and I'm like, I did it. I'm traveling. Then my email pops up back to me and I'm like, how is that? So I CC'd the whole NAP Africa list. So the whole community knew where I was going and with who. And I never heard the end of it. That's how most of the people in the community got to know me, is Yolandi from the mailing list. So coming to the things that has been said and heard, and I'm sure you guys have stories to tell about this. I'm running out of light. My connection is running out of light. Is it running on batteries? Where's the light coming from then? Do you need to charge it? Do you have a Type-C connector? I'm not sure. Do you need a torch to light it up? I'm not sure what you need from me at this point. And I'm sure with network engineers, you would relate to this. Our link is down. Have you made any changes? On our side, we did not make any changes. We just swapped the router. Nothing changed. It must be you. Oh, and a recent one that I heard is we can't use our own ASN because we only have a 1 gig port. Afrinic needs to step up their games. People need to connect on 10 gig. I don't understand. And then we contact a client and say, okay, your link is still down. And they go out to the cabinet and they come back with, now the link's up. We ask them, okay, so what happened? No, I've swapped RxTX on my RJ45. That takes skill. I'm impressed. So again, guys, you know, a lot of things happen in the industry, and yes, we don't always share them, but they are quite funny. Not at that moment, depending on what happens. But afterwards, you know, we all make mistakes. We all have these moments in the industry, and that's what got us to where we were, right? Lessons learned, and we grow from there. Now, as it says in the documentation, you guys must have fun at this meeting, enjoy it, get to know the people in the community, and I hope to see you guys next year back at AfPIF. And that's it. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Yolandi. Comments, questions? Come on, this should be common experiences. I was hoping people would be like, yeah. If you would want to share your experiences, that would be great. We have got 2 minutes for that. No? Do you have any questions, comments from online? No. Oh yeah, okay. I hope you don't disagree with her because you're also from NAP Africa. Go ahead, tell us the truth, the whole truth. Mic on there? I think you could switch it on.
Please don't share my secrets, Andrew.
I just want to point out to everybody, I'm only older because I have to work with her every day.
But you're aging nicely, so that's a great thing. Anyone else? Must be fun working at NAP Africa then. Anyone else? No? All right, then a big hand and many thanks to Yolandi. All right, so we continue with our session. So this is connecting to content. And our speaker for the first presentation regarding connecting to content is Jorgen from Amazon. He's the infrastructure business developer at Amazon. And as he's getting ready, I just need to mention that if you need interpretation, there are headsets over there, and channel 1 is for English, and then channel 2 is for French. Right, so thank you, and we welcome Jorgen to present to us. Thank you.
Hello. I am Jørgen Grines, the interconnect person for Amazon in Africa. So if you're an African network looking for pairing in Africa or elsewhere, I'm your man. So often when Amazonians start presentations, we start with a little customer story or a statistic. So I'm going to start and sort of predict that most of you are probably using Amazon services pretty much every day. Maybe you don't know about it because it's kind of indirectly. But I'm going to talk about a lot of the services that we deliver. Not so much because I think it's important that you buy all those services. That's sort of somebody else's job. But I think it's in order to interconnect and exchange traffic with Amazon, it is good for you to understand what all this traffic is and where it comes from and how we serve you. So I'm going to do this by talking briefly about Amazon. I'm going to talk about our current presence and infrastructure in Africa and how that's developing. I'm going to particularly address what is all this traffic, where does it come from, how does it map, how do we route it, and what can you as an African network do in order to help us make the user's experience even better, hopefully, going forward. And then at the end of the presentation, I'm going to talk a little bit about some new things that we do, which might be of interest to you and which is for sure of interest to many of your customers. So very briefly, Amazon, as you know, is an American technology company. Many people know us as an online shopping portal, which for sure we are, but there's a lot more to it. So the part of Amazon that I work for, Amazon Web Services, is the world's largest provider of cloud computing services. We also do Amazon Prime Video, which is a video service offering TV series and films, and also an increasing amount of live content. We do Amazon Music, and we do hardware such as Fire tablets for your TV, where you can cast things. We do Alexa, that you could ask what's the weather like today, or any other very interesting thing, and then e-readers and a ton of other things. But of course today we're going to focus on Amazon Web Services, which is running the network for all of these services that I have very, very briefly mentioned. So what's all this traffic coming from Amazon? As I already did say, I think it could be good for you to sort of have an understanding of this, just because your users are interested in this, and this is what you receive. So broadly, I guess you could divide it into two major groups of traffic. So it's CDN traffic and it's cloud services traffic. And then you can, of course, divide that in further, but that would be my first sort of divisor. So Amazon CloudFront is it's a big CDN. You're familiar with a lot of CDNs. Amazon is also one. I will talk a little bit more sort of detailed about some of that stuff later. So that is broadly serving two types of content, which is Amazon content, which is Amazon Prime Video primarily. In some markets, Amazon Prime Video is a big deal. In Africa, not quite so much yet. We have launched in Nigeria and in South Africa, but it will for sure be rolled out also in other parts of Africa. So that will become an increasing share of the traffic that we do distribute. So in addition to that, Amazon CloudFront is also serving a lot of third-party content. So there are a lot of third parties that you probably don't sort of in any way associate with Amazon, which are using us as their means of distributing traffic. It could be any traffic, but it is fair to say that video is by far the largest. And I can tell you, I observed that the interest of football in Africa is huge, like many other places. So that's why I have a picture of a football player up there who looks like a very white guy. And that's just because it should be kind of a picture of Salah from Egypt or Mane from Senegal, but copyright issues made it kind of this guy. So the big peaks that we see into Africa is, you Champions League, Africa Cup, all those things. So those are very, very popular services across Africa, and it oftentimes comes from us, and of course also from a lot of other CDN guys. So by far most of the traffic into Africa from Amazon servers, wherever they are CloudFront CDN traffic, and most of it is third-party content, and it is video. That's kind of important to emphasize. But then, of course, there's a lot of other very valuable traffic also for us and for our customers, and this is our cloud services, of which I would like to mention just 2 out of the more than 200, but it's Elastic Cloud Compute, or EC2, which is cloud compute at the edge or not. And then it's a simple storage services, which is a storage service, which is also very, very, very much utilized. And I did put up a picture logo of a company here, a Finnish technology company who made a lot of money out of a lot of Angry Birds. And I mentioned them just because it's one of the many, many, many international gaming companies that use Amazon services, and a lot of these gaming services depend on Amazon Cloud Compute services. So, good latency to Amazon and our servers means that end customers across Africa will have a good experience when they play games. And this is not entirely unimportant for a lot of ISPs, I believe. So over to Amazon infrastructure. First, across the globe, we have 26 so-called AWS regions. And then we also have 8 more in the pipeline. So what is an Amazon region? So a region is basically consists of 3 what we call availability zones, which are basically 3 football-size field data centers where all the cloud computing services are hosted. So all the cloud compute, the cloud storage, and all those other 200 services, they are found in our regions. So as you can see, as of today, we have 1 region launched in Africa, and that's in Cape Town. And then we are soon to launch a region in Spain, which will be of great interest, or at least be, from a latency perspective, close to particularly North African customers, which are oftentimes well connected, not so many of them here today, but also a proportion of West Africa will be better served when they are closer to our region in Spain. And then there is also a new region coming up in the Middle East, in the Emirates, which I think will be utilized for customers who are well connected through our backbone or somebody else's backbone, particularly in East Africa. In addition to the regions that we have, we also have more than 300 edge POPs worldwide. And we, I guess it's fair to say, are only just starting in Africa. So we have these 300 POPs all over the world. Of course, there are big white dots here and there, but we are in a large number of places. And this is, of course, connected through our backbone. So I don't want to engage in any sort of ranking of backbones. There are many clever networks who have very large ones, and I guess you could say it's just this is one of them. So as of today, we have edge POPs up in South Africa, Cape Town, and Johannesburg. We're in Nairobi, Kenya, and you can see that there is a fair amount of white space over on the west side of the continent there, which is something that we are currently very hard working on. Right, so what do we serve from where, and how does that stuff work? So I mentioned that most of the traffic that we ship anywhere, and particularly into Africa, is from our petabit scale CDN or Amazon CloudFront. In addition to having CloudFront, which is always an integral part of our edge nodes. Many of you are, of course, familiar with a lot of other CDNs who do embedded caches, which can be placed inside ISPs networks. Our CDN is, for now, always a part of our edge POP. So where you find an edge POP, pretty much always you find that's where the CDN is located. In addition to the CDN at the edge, we also find security services and DDoS and DNS and Amazon Global Accelerator, and then also some limited cloud computing services. So this is then served from one of those 300 global POPs that I mentioned, also across Africa. And it is set up so that CloudFront has a local egress. So in order to access the routes that you will get from the local CDN are the routes locally. So if you want to access content which is stored on a CDN server, which is an odd location, then that will, if you're not connected to us there, then that will be, it will reach you via your backbone or somebody else's backbone. That is different from our cloud services, of which, again, I will say that cloud compute and Amazon Cloud Storage, and those are the 200 services which are served from those regions that I mentioned. So they, on the whole, do ride our backbone. And if you are connected to Amazon, you will receive the routes for Europe, Middle East, and Africa, if you're connected to us in Africa or in Europe, for all of those routes. So it should be mentioned that we operate with so-called routing regions. So this means that in order to have access to all our American routes, for example, you need to connect to us in America. If you want all our Asian routes or say Singapore, Japan, you need to connect to us there. But you get our European, Middle Eastern, and African routes in this routing region. And of course, as sort of BGP guys, you can have many opinions about this. This is how it is, mainly because we are very much concerned with blast radius. We have seen also even in the last year that very clever guys, folks with big networks do every once in a while have downtimes, and it can be nasty when it is worldwide. So if anything should happen to the Amazon network, we would like to ensure that that doesn't affect our global footprint. Hence, we operate with these routing regions. So what can you, as a network operator, do to improve your traffic exchange with Amazon and create better user experiences and lower latencies for your customers? You can pair with us. So this is kind of like our pairing personal, I guess. We prefer or are happy to set up private pairing with you with one of our edge POPs anywhere in more than 90 countries as of now. So in Africa, the places where we do that is in ADC in Nairobi and in Cape Town, and then Tarek in Johannesburg and Cape Town. We prefer to go straight for 200 gig ports. We always want to have a redundant setup to make sure that we have the resilience in place. If you read the Amazon sort of documentation and policies on pairing, we say you need 200 gig ports. And this is because we are basically now building a new hardware platform looking for 400 gig. So you could argue that when we set aside a 10 gig port, we're kind of missing out on 390. But then we are also trying to ensure that our customers and peers also in Africa can do what is possible, and ports can be a precious resource. So if you contact me and you want to set up 2 times 100, that's cool. If you want to set up 2 times 10, because that's what's possible, I am quite sure we can accommodate that as well, because we do want to pair. So in addition to private pairing, we also are happy to pair publicly over more than 90 public exchanges, well, all over the globe really. And in Africa, this is the NAP Africa exchanges, then Syncs in Cape Town, and the Kenyan Internet Exchange in Nairobi. If you are so inclined that you want to receive all of our routes, or you for some reason absolutely want an SLA and you think settlement-free pairing in best effort is not sufficient for you or your customers, you are welcome to inquire about Direct, but that is a paid service. But so that's available for now in 115 locations around the world, in South Africa, Johannesburg, and Cape Town. You can either connect directly to us with Direct Connect or through one of the many Amazon Direct Connect partners that we have. And then you can get that SLA and a different type of service level, I guess you could argue. And then it will also receive all of the routes worldwide. So that was where we are and how we route our traffic as of today. Then I wanted to say a tiny little bit about some new stuff which is coming from Amazon. So we have quite recently launched what we call local zones. These can also be maybe referred to as mini regions, maybe not a very good term, but I guess it is kind of explanatory. So you remember that our Amazon regions consist of availability zones. So this is kind of like one small availability zone made available on the edge. So this will also come into Africa, and we will launch local zones with our POPs also in Africa, so that cloud computing becomes available at the edge. So for example, for our edge POP in Nairobi, when local zone is up and running in not that long, it means that customers either in Kenya or customers, international ones who wants to run Amazon cloud compute, they no longer have to wait for the 60 millisecond latency that they will have to South Africa or to the Middle East region, which is the alternative today, but instead they can run cloud compute in Nairobi, bringing down the latency and for sure improving the customer experience. So that is something we're doing in order to improve the quality of those services. And one particular group of customers that have very much been eager to drive this are the international companies that buy gaming services and which use the Amazon platform. So that's why I put up the logo of Supercell, another reference customer of ours. They deliver a lot of games, both for PC and online and Clash of Clans, and it's not really my cup of tea, but apparently these are extremely popular, and they can deliver better services when they can run those close to the edge rather than just in those regions. So over time, I think we will see a lot more cloud compute closer to the edge with all those edge POPs. I also want to mention another service which is launched, which is kind of also similar to a local zone, but for 5G services. So this is in 5G lingo, they call it a slice. So with a wavelength, the people who came up with that name obviously didn't work in capacity. And so, yeah, this is not the lit wave. This is the name of a service that Amazon has, but it is in order to run a 5G slice on in the cloud, basically. So for very low latency applications, then you will install the local zone, typically, not necessarily technically, but typically in a telco location. And then you will run a part of your 5G network in the cloud. So we have a lot of large international mobile operator groups who are using it and who are looking into this as of today. And one interesting reference customer is Dish Wireless, which is big in the United States. They're actually not just running wavelength, but they are basically running mobile, a mobile core or a whole mobile operation in the cloud. So their core, their BSS, their OSS, their whole stack, but also the core is actually running in the AWS cloud. So it's a very interesting use case. We think that we are also hoping that we'll have some success going forward. So that was trying to tell you very briefly what Amazon is and how what traffic we ship into Africa. A little bit about our plans. Some of you might have noticed that we have also launched Prime Video in Nigeria not so long ago with a lot of fanfare and quite a lot of success. I guess it gives a little bit of a hint of what is to come. If you want to talk about pairing with Amazon or have any questions, feel free to reach out to me later today. And here are the details. So we are very eager to participate in the continued growth of the internet in Africa, where there is a very young and eager population that clearly is hungry for more content and more services. And we are very much hoping to be part of that journey. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jørgen, for that presentation. If there are any questions, please stand on the mic for questions or comments. Do you have any questions? No. All right, so while we're waiting for someone to get on the mic, maybe Jørgen, one question. So you're saying you have 3 POPs now in Africa. Maybe just in terms of the ratio of requests that are from Africa that are satisfied by these 3 POPs, what would be the ratio of the traffic, or in terms of the number of requests, or in terms of volumes of traffic? What would you say?
Yeah, we will. Should be. So we will not disclose. We will not sort of disclose all the traffic levels exactly, but let me say that most of the traffic that we serve into Southern Africa is served out of our actually 3 POPs in South Africa, Cape Town. We have 2 POPs in Johannesburg. So of course, not all of the networks in say Botswana or Namibia or whatever will be necessarily present in South Africa, but we encourage and we do interconnect with some of them there. Otherwise, the traffic flows via their upstreams. So by far, most of the traffic that we do serve into those countries in Southern Africa is served from our POPs in South Africa. Same can be said about East Africa. East Africa is a little bit of a split. We serve most of the traffic into the countries, of course, most of the traffic into Kenya and most of the traffic close to Kenya, also from our POP in Nairobi, and then a little bit from Johannesburg, depending on where they find their upstreams. North Africa is very much served from Southern Europe and the POPs there for obvious reason. It's, yeah, that's how that works. And we are hoping that we soon will be serving a lot of traffic to a lot of eyeballs from West Africa. So come and talk to me about that if you have a, so that's as detailed as I would like to be, but it's a fair question.
Thank you so much. We have a question.
Yes. Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. Presenter. My name is Paul Kaunda. I'm a founder of a mobile app which offers legal services to the Tanzanian lawyers in Tanzania. My concern is pretty centered on the traffic shaping in Africa. How informed are the data subjects from which you are ubiquitously collecting, processing, and probably storage? How informed in respect to what happens to the data which are being collected and processing?
Okay, so just to be sure that I understand your question, you're talking about to what extent are those customers aware of where that actual data is
exactly
stored?
How are they informed? What extent are they informed?
Okay, so I think it is hard for me to answer that question very precisely, but we have a large presence, for example, in Kenya and Nairobi, and you know, when our salespeople and our architects are having a dialogue with the customers in that region, we are very clear on the setup of AWS regions and of the edge POP and what comes from where. And of course, in all countries, including Africa, data privacy and location is a very big issue. And with our local zone product, we are trying to address part of this. And I can also say that on our roadmap, we would like to make more of our 200+ cloud services also available. And there is a big demand for that. And part of that is due to in-country location of precious data, which will enable many industries to consume and buy more Amazon services because they cannot today due to regulation. So I would say that we are really trying our best to make sure that all of our customers understand where the data travels and where it is stored. That's as precise as I believe I can be.
Okay,
thank you.
Hey, good morning, Ben Meta. Thanks for the presentation, super interesting. One question, if you can answer it, super curious, you mentioned Prime Video in Nigeria, but the slides didn't list any infrastructure in Nigeria. How are you serving the market?
So I am stating what is officially announced from Amazon, and that is that Amazon Prime Video is doing super well and they're producing content, and Nollywood and the whole thing is working super well in Nigeria. And then I am also working hard to ensure that we can serve customers in West Africa better from West Africa. And that is unfortunately as good as it gets when it comes to an answer.
Understood, thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Hi, my name is Nishal. Like you, I don't understand the interest in Clash of Clans, but I am a technical volunteer for the Sudan Network Operators Group. And I know that a lot of people in Sudan like that and a whole bunch of other things that Amazon like. And speaking on behalf of the folks that I help, it would be really cool if they could get your services that are now hosted in Africa and not get the little banner that says you're on the state-sponsored, blah, 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 blah. We all know how that goes. So I know this is not your thing. Sorry to make it yours, but it would be really fantastic if you could work with some, or we could reach out to you to work with some of the folks in your organization to get those banners removed. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't think that is a question that requires an answer, but let's talk about, see what is possible. Please reach out.
Okay, thanks. Two questions from online delegate. From Samuel Kariuki. What are AWS long-term plan in terms of expansion in Africa? And the second one from Setoti Shimut. Does Amazon also consider tiering at 2 10 gig ports, especially with medium-sized ISP?
Okay, so the first question I am not going to answer because we don't announce kind of ahead exactly our expansion plans. But let us say that we are also very big consumers of the very interesting type of data that we got from Patrick and Telegeography yesterday. And I am a complete geek of gathering information on what's happening. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to work out that there are a lot of young, hungry, internet-savvy people across Africa who would like to use all kinds of internet services that we are offering and as other people are offering. And then it's a little bit of a question of bandwidth internally also. How fast can we roll out POPs? That they need to have positive business cases, of course. But we are continually evaluating more POPs and countries in Africa, and we definitely would like to launch more, and we will. Where? You can sort of maybe looking close at that data, make some good guesses, but I am not going to be more specific as of now. If you have any good input, please let me know. And then the second question is, I think I heard the question was, would you do a 2 times 10 gig with an ISP? And if we are present in the same data center, yes, please. We will be happy to do that.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jürgen, for that. Please, a hand for you. Thank you. Our next speaker is coming up is Salam. Salam is from Netflix. is the Open Connect Partner Engagement Director, and is going to give us a presentation.
Thank you.
I'm not sure if those are on. It's okay. Should be on.
Bonjour, AfPIF, ça va?
Good morning, AfPIF.
But I'm going to speak in English. I just wanted to annoy a little bit the translators. So my name is Salam, and I am the Netflix Open Connect Partner Engagement Manager for Africa. And today I'm going to be speaking about how to keep the content local. So first, Netflix is an entertainment company. We believe that great stories can come from anywhere and be enjoyed anywhere. So we have 220 million subscribers worldwide, but we have 450 million people who actually watch Netflix. So I'll let you do the math yourself to see how many people borrow their accounts of their friends, of their families. And we do stream 100 billion view hours per year. So why am I here today? A few months ago, Netflix attended ITU WTDC, here also in Rwanda, and we made the pledge. We made the pledge that we want to have 80% of content streamed locally in Africa. So, but what does Netflix mean by local content? Before I take you into the streaming bit, which I'm sure this is the piece you want to hear about, I want to say that for Netflix, local content is way beyond streaming. So we have over 200 films and TV series that are African. So we either license content, so if African film is ready, we can put it on the platform. We call this licensed content, or we actually produce a lot of very good movies and TV series, mainly in South Africa and Nigeria today. But again, we have over 200 titles. My favorites are My Teacher Octopus, and now you have to watch it, Rich, Famous, and African. And we don't only do this, we also do capital injection to create social economical value. For example, we have initiatives to promote talent development. We have a scholarship fund that cost us $1 million. And now actually the calls for scholarships is open yesterday. Last year we sent 3 screenwriters and 6 animators to Europe to study. And as I said, you can check out the call for application was opened yesterday for Africa, for West Africa. We also partner with UNESCO to sponsor the African Folktales film competition. And we do have a special fund to invest into African filmmakers. So I spoke about the production bit, but for us, local content is first the production of local content, which we are very serious about. And then this is where my part of the organization comes, Open Connect comes into making sure that this content is delivered in the most cost-efficient way locally. And that means we're going to invest in coding, in the Open Connect, our own CDN, it's called Open Connect, until it is streamed. Our main strategy for local content is based on our OCA, our caches. Our caches are called Open Connect appliances. And our main strategy is based around them. And I'm going to go clockwise around this. So of course, everybody knows that these OCAs provide a great offload. So they provide cost saving from a paying transit and long haul connections point of view. But we also, every version of these OCAs is becoming more power efficient. We are very proud to say that today, it takes only 5.6 kilowatt to power of a half rack. Where really we had like even a prize about the power efficiency of our OCA. Our storage capability and our throughput have increased. For those of you who are partners, you know that every version of the OCA you're getting more throughput, you get more storage for the catalog, more films stored on your machine. We also, when we do the deployment, we talk to the partner. We always do deployment in partnership with the partner, with the ISP, to do a fault tolerance and resiliency. So we don't like, we like to eliminate single points of failure. And this is part of the way that we do the design. Timing is everything. You know, our caches have to be fed every night, but they're fed at night in offload peak hours. So it really doesn't cost the ISP anything to be filling 500 or 1 gig of traffic every night between like 12 midnight and 12 noon. And last but not least, I wanted to spend some time on the encoding part. Is yes, you have an OCA, and so you have a copy of the films, you know, and the series. And you don't have one copy. You have one copy for every kind of hardware that the subscriber uses, whether it's an iPhone or it's a Galaxy phone, or whether it's a TV, smart TV. So there will be a special film encoded to be optimum for that. And not only this, it's also encoded for, it can tell the ambient internet connection, the speed. So it will give you the right, the way to get the best quality out of this because of our encoding technologies. And I'm glad to say that we have done 200% efficiency in the last 5 years. Today, in 5 megabits per second, you can watch one full-length, high-definition movie. So now we go to the streaming part. So yes, I should have called it exponential growth, not phenomenal growth. We see our traffic, and this is, again, this is from our perspective. We don't know, we don't have the numbers like Patrick of everything. This is what we see as Netflix, as Open Connect. We see the peak traffic doubling every year. We started in 2018 by building the first POP in Tarek, in Johannesburg. In 2021, we added another POP in Nairobi. And this year, we are deploying a new model. We call it the routerless IX. That means we're going to be able to donate OCAs, caches, to IXPs around Africa. Why we call it routerless IX? Because usually when we are present at an internet exchange point, that means we do have a full POP there, and the OCAs are behind our router. So we call it routerless IX. That means this time the OCAs are going to be behind the IXP router. So as you see, also phenomenal growth. Today we are in 29 countries. We have 132 partners. We have 194 sites and 353 OCAs deployed into Africa. So good news, we're already at 81% of traffic served from Africa to Africa. This is when we did the math for this presentation. I was very happy and relieved, but we're not going to stop at there. I'll show you why. And 19% of our traffic is served from outside Africa. So what are these 81%? So in this map, you see every little green dot is a site where the OCA is deployed. So as I said, you have 353 OCAs. So you'll see them in these green dots. 2/3 of the 81% of traffic is served from these OCAs. We see some countries are almost self-sufficient. I mean, South Africa, Kenya are at 99%, but we have countries like Mauritius, Botswana, Namibia. I'm going to not read them all. They are above 90% of serving locally. We're very happy about this. So my mission in the next year is to work with the other countries that are below 80% to start to get, we would like all countries to start being able to serve 80% or better. And these numbers I did from Africa to Africa. But after I did this by hand and I talked to our team and they said, Salam, you know, let's help you here. And then we have now a dashboard. So next year I could present on the same numbers and we'll see how we improved. So our goal is not only to do from Africa to Africa, 80%. Our goal is going to be from country to country, 80%. Okay, so I said 2/3 of the 81% is served by OCA. So the third is served through peering, whether it is public peering or direct PNI, private peering. So we're in South Africa or in Nap Africa. We are in Jinx, Sinks and Dinks. Both are routerless IX. In Kenya, we are in KIXP. And in DRC soon, big round of applause for Nico. We're going to be also having a RIX in Kinshasa. Private peering, we private peer at Tarek in Johannesburg and Africa Data Center in Nairobi. So going back to the 19%, where does the 19% of our traffic coming from outside Africa? Anybody wants to guess what is the #1 favorite destination? It's Paris. And why? It's because I think North Africa is totally dependent on basically France and Southern Europe to get their traffic, but we're also working on that. So next year, probably these numbers are going to be better. So again, we say 2/3 of the 19% come from Europe, mainly Paris, but also London, Milano, and Vienna. And 1/3 comes from the USA. And it breaks my heart to see this traffic coming from the USA, right? Or even from Europe. But I mean, why, hauling such a long distance? So again, this is something that we can work together on decreasing. Michuki asked me to go through challenges and opportunities. So I'm going to do that, but I'm going to start with the opportunity. So again, what we see the opportunity for Africa this year is going to be the routerless IX, right? So this is the configuration. So basically, in this case, our OCAs will be donated to the Internet Exchange Point, and they will sit behind the Internet Exchange Point router. The router still has to see the internet. Why? Because before the user presses play, our control plane has to make decisions on what titles you're going to see, what language you're going to see, and all stuff like that. So the router has to have always direct access to the internet. But and also they will get the fill traffic from there. So what the IXP will have to do is have to announce to the members that now the Netflix service is available. For the members that would wish to receive the Netflix service through this Internet Exchange Point, they will have to opt in a BGP community 4027 4000. This is the condition. And yes, the IXP can neither opt in participants nor change this community. So it's going to have to be up to the members to decide whether they want to opt in or not. So this is the model that we think is going to go a long way into making us do the numbers that we need to have more local content. The challenges that we see, again, we heard a lot during this conference, a lot of challenges from our point of view now here. Again, they say, why are you not in more POPs, right? So these are the numbers from telegeography. Patrick went into details into the price of every link, but what we see is we're gonna have to pay 10 times more basically in Africa than we pay in Europe or in the United States, at least 10 times more, because it depends on the country, right? The range between countries, the price of broadband is already very high in Africa, and some countries are better than others, but for us, it's at least 10 times more to just get there. And also we see that there's a lack of cross-continental networks. So again, if I build a POP, say in Europe, in Milano, I know that I'm gonna be reaching, or in Vienna, I know I'll be reaching the Balkan areas, all the countries in the CEE. I'll be reaching France, I can. So from that POP, I have an outer reach. The POP in Kenya, for example, even though one of the reasons we chose Kenya was because there was this East African corridor where countries are connected, we see very little meet me at the border or cross connections between the countries. So our little POP, our big POP in Kenya is now basically in the prison of Kenya because nobody outside of Kenya is using it. This makes a lot of sense. This is a big problem for us because we would like, for example, the POP in Nairobi to be more used by more people. Finally, a lot was said yesterday about regulations, and I'm not going to comment on that. From our point of view, what we see is a very high custom fees for equipment. Sometimes it's 50%. I don't know how you do a digital economy when you charge every server 50%, custom fee, and also complicated import procedures. So again, when I can push out an OCA to Europe in 4 weeks, in Africa, it's a matter of months sometimes to be able just to get the OCA over there. Okay, so I don't want to add on a bad note. So what I want to see is that Netflix seizes Africa at the frontier of growth, of digital growth in the world. And as my colleague Gina said yesterday, there's a place for all of us. And not only there's a place for all of us, each of us has a role to play. So Netflix is up to the challenge. Netflix is committed to growth in Africa. Specifically, Open Connect is also committed to growth in Africa through the deployment of the routerless IX this year. Eventually, hopefully, we will be able to build more POPs in Africa as the conditions become better. And thanks. I'll be taking some questions.
Thank you so much, Salam, for the presentation. Questions, comments on the mic? Do we have online? Okay, yeah.
Can I? Hi, Darren, AfPIF Program Committee. Salam, thanks for the insights and amazing presentation. Good to see the numbers as well. I just had two questions. First one, you mentioned the cash filling happens during 12 midnight until 12 noon, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
And you
awesome.
can change it 2 hours plus, usually 2 a.m. till 2 p.m.
Okay, awesome. So I'm grateful actually to see that the routerless IX is coming up. And my question is, why only now? You guys did an amazing job already, but I mean, yeah, why now actually? And I'm also happy to hear that Mr. Nico is getting one, so I'm happy for you. This is very important for the rest of the community. And putting my Angola Network Operators Group hat on, I guess, the local community and the local IX also, might be looking into that.
So yes, thanks for the question. First, we are Open Connect is a first come first serve open peering partner, right? So please, you want to do something in Angola, you just email me or open a ticket through the openconnect.netflix.com, and then I will respond. Or my partner, my colleague Arthur, right here, also can respond. The question why now? It's a very good question. Is because of our steering control plane. So the way that we steer the route, we are based on BGP, but we have like a modified kind of a version for BGP. We look for the smallest aggregated prefix, and then we look for the number of hops, then we look for meds, and then we look for geolocation. It was not possible for us to be able to control this when the OCAs were at an IXP. When they are with a partner, so they are on an ISP partner, they are totally behind the router of the ISP, and then steering worked well because it's like one partner, one ASN, sometimes maybe a little bit more, but not, we were able to do this. But putting them in an IXP where there's an opt-in, so an IXP could have more members, we were not able to do the routing correctly. It did not work. Okay. Finally, till, our engineers put their head together and came up with this model end of last year. So we're like now deploying it. That's awesome. Why.
Congrats.
Thanks. It was a technical problem, not a.
So one question from Abdul Kader Ali Ufatnet online. Why Djibouti is not used as POP as connecting to major cable they serve in Africa, Middle East, Europe, and Asia?
Do you know there's a joke? So this guy was asking, God, please, make me win the lotto, make me win the lotto. And then finally he heard the voice from beyond saying, did you play today? So the answer is, did you ask? So again, we are open to all requests. Please, Djibouti, send a ticket, an email, tell us your requirement. We'll have a call, we'll discuss. And then again, our only problem many times is threshold traffic. Sorry, I'm taking time. But like for Europe, the threshold is 5 gigabits per second to get an OCA or to peer. But for Africa, we lowered it down to 1. So that would be the only way that we would not make a deployment. So please, Djibouti, you have the minimum traffic, please contact me.
All right, thank you so much, Salam. I'm really sorry we're running out of time. So maybe if
only Donald, please. Only Donald.
Yeah, I'll just get one question from Donald and then we can continue the conversation later. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Donald from AM CDT. I actually have 2 questions. The first one is, why are the OCAs not red anymore? Is that a power efficiency thing? No,
I actually, you know, I share your concern and I have openly voiced my opposition to the fact that they're not read.
no, but my question is, the routerless IXP, is that only open to IXPs or are willing networks allowed to participate as well? So a standard network operator.
Well, network operators have, I mean, you mean ISPs?
No,
You know?
so a AS that is attached to an IXP, so not necessarily the IX itself.
Okay, but if the network has an AS, then they can request, if they have the qualifying traffic, we can deploy under not the routerless IX model, but under the ISP regular model, the embedded OCAs.
Okay, so, all right, thanks.
Right.
One last question.
Yeah, thank you so very much, Salam.
Thank you.
And big hand for her. So we will have one more presentation. We need to be done by about 12:30, and then we have peer-link personals immediately thereafter. So the next presenter is Sam from Team Cymru. Yeah, I always struggle to pronounce that. So please.
Cool. I'm doing this presentation on behalf of my colleague. He wasn't able to do it. He's one of our security evangelists, an amazing guy. So that means if you have any difficult questions, networking, technical questions, all to him. If you want to kick it, lay back, have a chat, that's me. So Team Cymru is a threat intelligence company. We started back in 2005. We have 2 divisions. That's the outreach and a commercial division. The commercial one makes the money, and then we get to do the cool stuff, the free stuff. We get to build stuff for the community and empower the community. Also, it's how the company started. A little bit about myself. I've been with the company for 1.5 years or so, and I help communities globally access tools and services within the cybersecurity space. Team Cymru is pronounced as Cymru. It's a Welsh word. The founders have a Welsh background, and that's how they came up with the name. We support thousands of ISPs, hosting companies globally, get free threat intelligence service from us. We also work with SAT services. Currently, we have over 145 in over 86 countries. And we provide them with threat intel, both nationally and regionally for the SAT services. My click is failing me. Yeah. There. So we have tools for ASN, for organizations that have ASNs. We also have services that can be used by anyone who's interested with threat intel. And some of the tools, popular tools that we have are the Nimbus Threat Monitor. I'll speak more about it a little bit deeper, a little bit in later slides. We also have the Bogon reference. And some of you senior folk know us as the Bogon company. I've met a couple of you guys who know us from way back and know of our Bogon reference service. We also have the ATAS service. I'll speak more a little bit about it. It's a community-driven DDoS mitigation tool. It has over 1,600 last time I checked, ASNs using it all the way from tier 1 to tier 3 providers. For the free services for all, we have the Dragon Newsbite. And this is a restricted mailing list that is not spam, that shares articles, news, and research that we do internally within the cybersecurity space. And then we have the IP to ASN service that helps you correlate your IP addresses and your BGP prefixes and ASN number. We also have a malware hash registry that I'll be able to speak also about. We have an upcoming event at the end of the year that's called RISE. It's a restricted event Please, I do urge you, if you're really interested in this, please register for it. You can ping me, let me know that you've registered for this event. I'll help get the approval going. And in this event, we are able to bring together stakeholders within this cybersecurity space, and we're able to discuss issues, occurrences, trends globally of what happens. So for the Nimbus TM tool, this is our tool that we use to provide to Essence global threat intel by correlating their metadata with a global IP reputation feed. And it uses Elastic Flow Kibana. And it comes with customizable dashboards that help you see what happens within your network. Sorry, I'm a little bit going back and forth here with my clicker. But basically what this does, it gives you vulnerabilities within your network and helps you see what goes through your network space. We've used it for a couple of years now. Some of you have gotten a chance to test the tool and see what it does. And then we have the DDoS mitigation tool. And the way that works, I need someone to help me with my clicker. And the way that works is that we have built a community around this tool where we are able to help people mitigate against DDoS attacks. Once you have a DDoS attack, I wish I had the demo with me. Once you have a DDoS attack, we are able to make that announcement within the community. And when I say the community, it's 1,600 plus ASN using this service. And they are able to, perfect, awesome. Cool. And the way that works is we propagate your announcement to this community, and we are able to bring to help you with your situation. I'll share a cool story about that, of how that works. It'll help you give a clear understanding of how that works. So here's a sample dashboard of Nimbus TM and what it looks like. It also helps you. It comes with the dashboard, a really cool dashboard that helps you correlate traffic between ASNs, between your IP addresses, and you're able to make at least peering decisions if you need to for your network, and help you at least find out where your traffic is coming from and where it's going to. We have the Bogon reference. This is really a really common service that has been used over the years. And most of the people don't know that this is done by Team Cymru, has been done by Team Cymru over the years. And this is what Bogons are. And this has been running for way before I started my career in the IT space. And we have Bogons, full Bogons. This is how we try to break them up. And we have IPv4s and IPv6. Perfect. Here's the malware hash registry. It's our malware validation tool that queries against 30 plus and undisclosed antivirus databases, plus our own TC database. That's 8 years plus. It helps you identify new or emerging malware that may not be detected by existing anti-malware tools. We support the hashes MD5, SHA1, and SHA256. It comes with user interfaces, and depending with the queries you have, if they're one-off or they're bulk queries, you can choose one of the databases. We recently developed an API for this, and it is available on request. So you can drop us an email. We can be able to help you access this. Oh yeah, here's the ATAS. We currently have the version 2.0, and some of the community members, I think I've seen 1 or 2 in here that help us develop this. At the end of the day, we do this for the community, and we we use the same community to develop these tools and these services and just get ideas of what we can do and give back to the community and help clean up the network. It's similar to a remote trigger black hole, except upstream and global. Team Cymru, we validate your requests and then forward it to the community of these 1,600 plus participating networks. And then the announcement is made to them all. And that's how we help out the community. A while back, I met a CTO of an internet exchange in the UAE, and I was trying to say what we do. And he told me, you don't need to explain what you do. A couple of years back when I used to work for an operator, you guys helped me out when I had a DDoS attack on my network, and it had gone on for months. And then he came across this ATA service, and he subscribes to it. And within hours, he had gotten his configs and his sessions up. And that's how he was able to get back his network, which was a really cool story. I know this is the short version of it, but it was really cool to hear him share and say how this helped him out. Some of the features that the ATAS version 2.0 comes with, we've increased the prefix size of IPv4 from /32 to /25, and we've also added IPv6 support up to /49. We also support geographically diverse networks. We offer better peering, and we have route efficiency. And here's a comparison of how far we've come with this service from the ATAS version 0.1 and to version 0.2. And please, I know I'm a little bit fast with this. I'm running through these slides, but feel free to pull me on the side. Feel free to connect, drop me an email. We can discuss, chat, and I can be able to describe more in detail. My colleague is also around. He's really an amazing engineer. He'll be able to discuss technically in detail about this. Tarek, and he's seated over there. We have one more tool, Safe, that I just brushed through. And Safe is an exchange for where people are able to share abuse and vulnerabilities and able to query the same on the database. And here is what some of the things that we gather on this exchange. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the sponsors and the organizers of this for giving us the opportunity to share what we do.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sam. All right, I think we have a question.
Yes, one question from Daniel Kawuma online. How does Team Cymru work with CSET from the different countries beside the part of sharing threat intelligence?
I didn't get the last part, but I believe on our website, we have where you can request for the service, and we get to validate it on our end and send you details. But everything is on the website. I just didn't get the last part of that question.
I can repeat. So the question was, how does Team Cymru work with CSET from the different countries beside the part of sharing threat intelligence?
Oh, we also support them in case of things that they see on their network or anyone in their community that would need help. We are very open and very ready to help. At the end of the day, the way this company was formed was very community driven, and we always stand by to assist in case you have issues with your network. Yes, sir.
Thank you. I think one more question and then we will close. We just at the time of finishing up. So please.
Okay, I'm Junius Bono from Carnegie Mellon University, Africa. I'm studying cybersecurity. About your IP reputation feed service, I just wanted to know how easy is it to subscribe to get those data? And also there are some service that aggregates a lot of different block lists and IP reputation like shadow server. Are your data included on such services? And also, how do you manage the the right to forget those IPs, because an IP can be involved in an attack today and tomorrow everything will be fixed. So how long does it take to forget those IPs?
That's a quarter of that question. The other 3/4, I'll leave it to my colleague Tarek Sendi. He's better placed to answer it. He's right next to you. For you to get the service, you go to our website. There's a page where you subscribe to the service that you'd like. And the rest I'll let Tarek answer. He's in a much better placed position than I am.
So maybe we can arrange a chat a little bit, because yeah. So thank you again, Sam, for presenting, and a big hand to all our presenters this section. So we're just coming to the end of our session. And again, thank you all for attending. We will break for lunch. Oh, there's some announcement. Go ahead. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay, I can continue with the peering personas. Yes, we are requesting everybody who's around, who has sent the slides, which is KIXP, IXPN, China Telecom Global, AWS, and Niger IXP, to come in front to introduce themselves, and Henok will put the slides up. It won't take long, it won't hurt. I can't promise. If possible, in that order. Somebody from KIXP in the room? Going once, going twice? Why not? Somebody from IXPN? Okay, please come. If KIXP, come in front, please. Okay, Enoch, you can go to the next one. I called it session 4, but it was 5, but one of them didn't happen. Number 3 didn't happen or something. So it's
Good afternoon. Sorry to keep you between KXP and lunch. My name is Amil Kamuga. We represent the Kenya Internet Exchange Points, which is solely managed by Testbook, technology service providers of Kenya. So we're at 4 locations: the African Data Center in Nairobi, Ikolo Nairobi, Ikolo Mombasa, and the Pikes in Nairobi Upper Hill. We do both bilateral and multilateral peering. You can get in touch with us. That's our group email, bizdev@testbook, and also my personal email, milka@testbook. Our ASN numbers are up there: 37770, 37789, 37786, and lastly, 37704. So thank you very much.
thank you. If somebody from China Telecom Global is in the room, please come in front.
Okay, my name is Jacob. I'm from Internet Exchange Point of Nigeria, IXPN. ASN is 36932, and we are present in Nigeria by the name. We have a number of connected networks. Recently is 108. So we recently celebrate going over 100 networks. The traffic level peak is at 350 gig. The number of peering locations that we have is, we have 6 in Lagos, where we have multiple carrier neutral data center. We are present in Medallion Rack Center, MDXI, ICN data center, Cloud Exchange, and ADC. We have presence in, besides Lagos, we are present in Abuja, Port Harcourt, Kano, and Enugu. We are open, being an IX, we are open to any kind of pairing. You can do multilateral pairing with our route servers, and you can do bilateral pairing with any member depending on your presence or your preference. So if you would like to pair with us, or you can simply go to, you can send an email to our email address, info@ixp.net.ng, or you can reach out to me or my colleague that we came together, Mr. Mohammed Rodman, is also here. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Okay, we will show The next slide is already on for China Telecom Global, but nobody's here to speak. So take a picture. Also, these slides will be on the website very, very soon. Okay, and then we go to the next. AWS, welcome.
Yeah, I guess you've seen the AWS logo sufficiently already. So very quickly, we pair in South Africa, Johannesburg, and Cape Town, Syncs Cape Town, and Kenya Internet Exchange, and 90 more IXs around the world. Come and pair with us. We do actually not pair at the route service, but bilateral pairing sessions on any of these exchanges. Reach out to me directly or on to our address, which is listed here, and we're happy to pair with. Although it's selective, we have a fairly open pairing policy.
Thank you very much. And we go to the next, Jean, please.
Bonjour tout le monde, je me nomme Cymru.
Good morning, Cymru Nusupo, ACN 37385. I'm from Niger, actually, acting in Niger. Yes, we have received 4 networks. We are just in our starting points. More and more, we'll try to develop the volume. Actually, the XP is based in Niger Telecom. Thank you for your kind attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Josiah, back to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Frank, for arranging and hosting that. So again, just sorry for holding you a little bit for lunch, but I think this was really good and exciting. So we're going to break for lunch up until 2 o'clock when we start with a session, a panel on NOG experiences in Africa and around the world. So please be back at 2 o'clock. And for now, please go enjoy your lunch. I think we'll be getting coupons, vouchers as we go out towards the lunch area. Thank you so much.